It's December and usually it's the time when flights are delayed because of the fog situation in North India. However, this time there's an even bigger crisis and a mother of a mess, and it has nothing to do with fog. IndiGo, which dominates 60% of the Indian market, has cancelled all its flights in Delhi and Chennai on Friday, and hundreds of other flights were cancelled from across the country on Wednesday and Thursday as well.
And funding amount 10,000, 20,000, and now we are getting the alternative flight of 70,000. From where that money came from?
Why should I wait? It is worse than railway also.
All of this left thousands of flyers harassed, stranded, hungry and sleepless because the airline failed to comply with norms which they knew were coming more than a year ago. In fact, almost 2 years. So the very obvious question is, how did this totally avoidable crisis happen, and why do you and I have to suffer like this? Now, by the time you're watching this video, things will already begin to feel like they're better because the government has already given an exemption to IndiGo in implementing the Flight Duty Time Limitations or FDTL. They have now time till February, exactly what they'd been lobbying for, to come up with the new rosters and amp up their staffing so that pilots and crew members, when they give their due offs, just like international standards demand, they don't make us, the flyers, go through hell. The question to ask is, if these duty timings, for example, the one that says flying between midnight and 6 a.m. is night shift and not just till 5 a.m., if all of these new standard rostering and timings were known since early 2024, why did IndiGo take so long to react? They knew that the Delhi High Court had also rejected their contention and they had to have it in place since November 1. So why were they not prepared? The thing for us passengers to worry about, instead of just being content that the problem has been kicked down the road to February, is how safe are these old flying norms? All that the new system, which IndiGo is resisting, says is that the rest period should be increased from 36 to 48 hours. The DGCA had also said that weekly offs or rest days cannot be passed as leave. These are now both in abeyance. That means they don't have to be implemented. Now, IndiGo may say that they need these standard stipulations done away with, else there's shortage. But do we as flyers want our pilots to be cranky and angry that they don't have their offs? Personally, I don't think it's fair to count a weekly off as leave. That has to be some kind of violation of labor laws. The Pilots Association, when they reacted to this development, where the government had told airlines to just not bother about these rosters and rest periods, said that it was compromising the safety of flights. As a flyer, that makes me very nervous, especially because the memory of the June Air India crash is very fresh on my mind. The thing is that everyone's focusing on the pilots' rest and duty norms. Actually, the problem is also with crew members. One person speaking on condition of anonymity told us that they were working out of Pune and there all ground staff members had done double shifts, and that's why the system collapsed there. Passengers who'd been waiting for hours even after flights got cancelled couldn't go home. Why? Because the system wasn't geared to give the bags back to passengers once they had checked in. So imagine the trauma. First you're told the flight is delayed again, but will take off. You wait for hours, it gets cancelled, and then you have to still wait around to get your bags back to go home or make other plans to get to wherever you are. This may be Shadi season, but my heart goes out to all those who are traveling for health reasons, to see sick family members who have urgent reasons and now have to look for and book expensive alternatives. One report said that tickets to Mumbai were costing 1 lakh rupees from Delhi. Just unimaginable. IndiGo has apologized for this, as an HT report said that their on-time performance had dropped to a record low of 8.5% this week, when it is usually more than 90%. In a video statement, their CEO Peter Elbers promised to do better and said they would limit their cancellations to less than 1,000. But the point is that this simply seems inexcusable. They knew since January 2024 that these norms were coming, so why didn't they prepare? Why didn't they hire more people? That brings me to the role the DGCA has played. If the norms kicked in on November 1st and the delays were building up, then why didn't the regulator react before this halting of operations we saw this week? Airlines are supposed to give their flight schedules much in advance. Did no one see this happening? That's why the allegations raised by our opposition leaders like Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Chaturvedi and many others, including some BJP MPs as well, they ring true today. They are questioning why did the government allow this duopoly where the entire market is just Air India and IndiGo to come up? Why is it that the flyer, the passenger has to go along with what these airlines dictate? Why, despite a court order from Delhi High Court, was the regulator unable to get the safety norms implemented without chaos? The government has now ordered an inquiry, but the question is, does that really solve anything? Somehow, I'm not convinced that these will be fine on February 10th, which is the new deadline for all the airlines to implement FDTL. And we're all hoping that the angry pilots don't take drastic action like going on strike.